Hello, this is Michele Harrison. I'm a physical therapist and I work with the Rocky Mountain MS Center and have for about 30 years now. We have been doing some Zoom classes for the hydrotherapy participants and KDEP participants. And it came up that some people were interested in a little more stretching work than we're getting in the class. And so we decided that it would be good to record a video that would be a little more thorough stretching that you can utilize anytime. Stretching should be an important part of your exercise routine. Flexibility is equally as important as strength and endurance. And coordination and balance and flexibility are all parts of what's considered a well-balanced fitness program. So I thought we'll start from the top and work our way down. I would like for you to hopefully have a trash can, a box, footstool, something to help with some of the leg stretches, and it can also be used for a little bit of balance here in a bit for some of the other stretches. And then have a strap or a belt of some sort for some of the leg stretches as well. So we'll get started here. We're going to start with the neck. So we're going to tip. And when I say tip, it's not turn, right? It's tip your head to the side. So I'm bringing my right ear to my right shoulder, and I'm going to hold that for a little while. Now, ideally, you would hold each stretch 20 seconds. And that's the minimum amount of time that they believe it takes to help a muscle lengthen, which is what we're looking for with a stretch, is to get that muscle tissue to lengthen. And then we'll go to the other side. And you may notice one side's tighter than the other. And again, it's not shoulder to ear, it's your ear to your shoulder, and you should feel the stretch alongside on the side of the neck. So if I bring my left ear to my left shoulder, I will feel it on the right side of my neck. Now, if you would like, but you don't want to pull on your neck so much, you can just lift your hand up and gently place it on your head and have the weight of the hand help give a little more stretch if you feel like you need that. Stretches, you should feel kind of a medium pull. Shouldn't be super painful. If it is, you probably need to back off. And I like people to stretch. We'll go back to the first side again, and then we'll show the hand if you want to do that. You don't have to. Sometimes just the weight of the head can be enough just to get a good pull down along the neck and that shoulder. Now, sitting up tall is important for any of the spinal and neck stretches. Excuse me, I'm going to get a little sip of water here. Because the more upright you sit and the straighter your spine and neck are, the more rotation you'll be able to get and the more movement in your spine and neck. So we're going to sit up tall and we're going to try and turn our head towards our shoulder and hold. Now, an actual good range of motion for turning your head, come back to the middle, is actually being able to get your chin over your shoulder. So kind of aiming for that. And again, trying to hold for 20 seconds. You can hold a stretch up to a minute, but I think after a minute of stretching, kind of there's diminishing returns for your investment on the stretch. So 20 seconds to a minute is a good time to hold a stretch. Again, to get that lengthening. Let's do one more time each side. And realizing that most stretches, you should probably do 2 to 3 repetitions. And come back to the front, hold to the other side. And sometimes we need to do extra stretches throughout the day. So the effects of a stretch, as everybody has heard me in hydro say, lasts for a few hours. So if you stretch once a week, that's good, but you get the benefit for a period of hours after the stretch, and then you may need to repeat that. So we're going to do the half circle down across our chest, unless that gives you that Lermitz feel, that zingy feel to your neck and your spine. If you get that, you may want to try and modify the position. So chin to your shoulder, down across your chest and back, nice and slow. And you can go even slower if that makes you dizzy at all. And again, nice upright posture really helps for most exercising, but for stretching and getting an appropriate and a good stretch. Good. Now let's roll our shoulders up, back, and around. You may hear a little clicking, a little popping there. That means you've got some tightness. Your shoulder blades should be able to move down along your rib cage, right? That's part of the motion they need so that you can lift your hands up over your head, is being able to what we call depress and come down, right? And that helps with posture as well. So we're thinking about trying to roll our shoulders and put those shoulder blades into the back pockets. Good. Now, we're going to do a couple of shoulder stretches, and believe me, there are more stretches to be done for specific muscles that you might have an issue with. And if that is the case, most of you know how to get in touch with me, but you could call me if you have a specific muscle that's been bothering you, because we may not in this segment be able to get through each and every one. So we're going to bring one arm out. You're going to bring your left arm out. You're going to grab with your right hand and you're going to pull across your chest. Now you should feel stretch kind of in the back of the shoulder and in between your shoulder blades, because that muscle often gets tight. And then my hand just rests on the other arm. We're going to do the other side. Hold that arm up, right arm up, grab that elbow, pull across. And again, feel it in the back of the shoulder, in the shoulder blades themselves. One more time each side. We'll try and get through 2 stretches of each on these, just to get into that habit and that practice. Sometimes the second stretch, we can go a little bit further because we have a little more flexibility. Other side. And again, arm comes across, hold the elbow. This arm just relaxes here. And we pull that arm across in front. Remembering to breathe. And sometimes doing our counting can help us to breathe while we're doing these activities. And stretching should feel good, right? I mean, there are certain muscles for me that I am really tight in, and it's a little uncomfortable. But, you know, stretching should actually feel good and not be too painful. Now, there are some people that might need assistance to get into some of these positions, and that would be something else to kind of address, is somebody who would actually need somebody to help them get some of the motion in their shoulders and arms or in the legs to get adequate stretch. So our next stretch is going to stretch down the back of the arm. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. You're going to bring your arm back, and then I'm going to take my other hand, I'm going to pull back on that arm till I feel stretch, maybe in the armpit and down the back side of the arm, down those triceps. My hand is just resting. You may have to help the arm up a little bit. That's okay too. And you would relax and then repeat that. Good. Let's do the other side. This arm up, right? Ear, or the arm up by the elbow up by the ear. Other hand reaches to the elbow, and this hand is just relaxed, and you're going to pull back till you feel a stretch down the arm, maybe into the armpit there. And hold. Remembering when you hold your breath, that's actually, will produce more stiffness and tightness if you kind of and hold your breath versus a nice, slow, gentle breath. And relax. And you just let it kind of rest for a second and repeat. Continuing that nice, slow breathing. And again, the more hunched over you are like this, the harder it's going to be to get your shoulder up. When you're curled, you are going to have more difficulty lifting your arms up. You can just try it. You can try and curl down and do that. Good. And now, when we count to 20 for a stretch, we don't do 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, right? We do 1,001, 2, kind of a nice slow pace. Now, so we're going to lace our fingers. You're going to push those hands towards me, push them towards the screen, and you're going to lift your hands up over your head. Palms are to the ceiling. So when we're doing this, we're stretching shoulders. We're stretching some of the elbows too, just getting those arms straight. But we're also stretching the forearms, wrists, and fingers. We're getting some finger stretch in there. It's one reason I like this position. And relax. And again, just let the muscles relax. Lift, palms to the ceiling. Now, it may be that you can do one arm. That's good. And you may need assistance with the other arm. That's okay too. Or if it's easier, you could do this lying in bed, right? Where you can get your hands up over your head and if it's hard to push up to the ceiling, hands behind your head. Now this time, I don't want you to pull your head forward, right? I want you to be upright. Very gentle pressure with your hands on your head and try and stretch those elbows back. We're stretching the front of the chest into the front of the shoulder. And again, not yanking forward on the head. This one can also be done nicely in bed if you try and get hands behind your head and get those elbows back to the mattress, right? I would not, if you were going to do this in bed though, I would not use a pillow, right? Because we want you to be flat. Relax. And you might do a couple shoulder rolls if that feels tired. There. Good. Now, we're going to move down just a little bit here. So now what I'd like you to do is try and hopefully you're sitting on a nice sturdy chair that does not have wheels or anything, right? So it's stable. And you're going to be able to get your feet flat on the floor for these activities as well. I'm going to have you hold towards the back of the chair. Hold towards the back of the chair, and then I want you to just lean forward. And again, this is a real nice stretch for the chest and the shoulders. And we're starting to stretch the back a little bit because we're getting a bit of an arch of the back when we do this. If you cannot, if you're in a, say a power chair or a wheelchair, you could always scoot forward a little bit, try and grab a hold of the armrest, or just try to get your hands behind and try and lift up. Lift that chest up and kind of arch back. Holding that position and relax. Let's do that again. Arch. This should feel good on your back, not painful. And if you've been told to not do certain movements and or positions, then please don't do those. If somebody's told you don't arch your back like that, then there must be a medical reason your doctor gave you those instructions. So I want you to, take that in mind as well. Because everybody's body is just a little bit different. Now we're going to reach around, grab your thigh, reach to the back of the chair, or reach for the chair arm, and we're going to turn and twist and try and look behind as if somebody's behind you and you're going to look at them. So I want your head turned and then a nice twist. Again, staying nice and upright, straight with that spine really helps you get a better rotation, more movement. Let's switch to the other side. And we're kind of carving out a little bit of time to stretch. And I do realize that sometimes we have busy days and we have days we don't have so much going on. So on a busy day, you may want to go through the whole stretch routine. On a day where you have more activities and you're a little more on a timeline, maybe doctor's appointments and things going on or family things, maybe you pick out the top 3 to 5 stretches that you really feel that sing to you when you do them, and make sure you try and get to those every day. The effects of a stretch only last for a few hours. Back to the other side, we're going to do our last twist here. So if you stretch once a week, it's good, but you may only get the benefits of that stretch for a few hours in the week. All righty. Now, We're going to do a couple back stretches. And this one is actually a back stretch, but it's also kind of for the buns and low back area. So you could, if you can sit upright and bring your knee to your chest, not just pull on your knee so much, but maybe hook under and lift, you can hold that. If you need to be on the chair back for some stability, so that you feel like you can do that better and have better balance, you can hold that. Switch legs. Knee to chest. If you can, sitting up tall. Away from the chair. If you need the chair for support, you can do that. How does it feel so far? Hopefully it feels good. I think flexibility and stretching is often forgotten. And those of you that do yoga certainly know the benefits of stretching. And also, stretching is thought to be more effective on warmed up muscles. But I find for people that have a lot of tightness or spasticity, sometimes they need to stretch just to do some movement. So you may want to stretch initially to do your walking, your strength training, balance training, other leg, hold. But you may also want to stretch a little bit once you've got those muscles warmed up, because the literature says that warmed up muscles stretch better. It kind of makes sense. Hopefully you're feeling good. If anything is super painful, you probably need to check with me, your physical therapist, if you have an individual therapist or your doctor or something, because again, these stretches shouldn't be really super uncomfortable. Now, we're going to bring a stool, a footstool in front of us, okay? And what we're going to do now is, I'm going to scoot back a little bit. That may help. We're going to try and spread our feet wide. And then we're going to try to go down and just lean forward and reach for your ankles. Okay? So I'll show you sideways. Right? Reach down for your ankles. Now, the reason I brought the stool over is if you don't feel stable bending forward like this, you can always either lean forward and lean on the stool, or a footstool, or a box, or a trash can, or put your elbows down if you want, just for a little bit of stability. We're going to also try to reach down both hands to the right knee. And again, if needed, you could always just kind of lean forward and let your elbows down on the footstool, right? Other side. Now this stretch, you may feel a little bit here. You're going to feel it in the low back and buns. When we come forward, you'll feel it on both sides. When I lean this way, I should feel it kind of down this side of my back, lower back. So if I go to my left, I feel it on the right. And vice versa. Come up, take a big breath in. Other side. And you should feel stretch in the back, the buns, maybe in your hamstrings, in the back of the thigh, if they're tight. Come up. Good job. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a stretch, and some of you may be able to do this, some of you may not. If you don't feel stable or safe, do not do this on a chair. This is one of the more challenging chair stretches because you have to kind of hang one hiney cheek off. You can hold on to the chair and you're going to grab that ankle and pull that leg down. Now the idea is, I'm turning here so you can see, is to kind of stretch out the front of the thigh. Now, if you absolutely cannot, one, get your leg up to do that, right? You could maybe turn sideways and hold here and bring this leg forward and see if you feel, if you sit up tall, if you feel a little bit of a stretch on the front of the hip and maybe down into the thigh. Now, there are some people that really cannot do this exercise from a chair. This is one of the more challenging chair ones, I believe. So we're going to try the other side. So if you cannot do that, I would recommend trying to stretch out your quads, getting that ankle or that knee bent, pulling that foot back when you're in bed, having somebody see, because I need to be upright, not leaning too much, right? I need to have my knee down. I have to be able to balance myself. So I'm pulling back on that leg. You may have to do this in bed when you get in bed, where you can stretch out and you can actually either have someone assist you or hold on to that ankle and pull that foot back on your side or on your tummy, just to get a good stretch in the front of the leg. Good. Okay, now we're going to move on to our figure 4 stretch. So you're going to cross one leg over, you're going to sit up tall, and you're going to lean forward at the hips. We can do an ankle circle while we're here, both directions. If you have a brace on, maybe you do the ankle circles when you are in like going to bed and you take your brace off that might preclude you from moving. Bending the foot up and down. You can do this actually with your hand if you want, the circles too, right? And then kind of a up and in, down and out motion. So we get a little ankle flexibility while we're doing this. Good. Let's switch legs. We're going to do one repetition on each just to give you ideas for things here. Sit up tall, bending forward at the hips. And again, you're hinging at the hips and your back is straight. Again, that good alignment and posture is real important. Both directions. This is kind of to get the Rice Krispies out of your ankles, back and forth and up and down motion of the ankle. Up and in, down and out. Good. Now, we're going to bring our footstool out in front of us. And if you don't have a footstool, you can actually do this just on the floor. You may just have to bend further forward to feel this. I want you to bring one foot up on the footstool or in front of you on the floor. Heel is down, knee is straight. And I'm bringing my foot to the side so you can see a bit. We're going to sit up tall and we're going to lean forward at the hips. Now, when you lean forward, you should feel a pull maybe from your high knee down to your knee. These are your hamstrings. If you're having a hard time bending forward, you can use your belt, put it around the middle of the foot, and lean forward and hold. This one you won't necessarily feel in the calf unless you're exceptionally tight, but you will when we bring the belt to the ball of the foot like this, and pull back on the ball of the foot. Now, if you want to feel all the way down the back of the leg with this stretch, you would pull the toe back, but then lean forward, using the belt to bend forward again. You're going to feel that all the way from the high knee to the knee down to the ankle, and up into the sole of the foot maybe. Remembering also to stretch out tight toes. All that foot tightness is due to calf tightness, right? And so they actually have important jobs. So we can lift toes and stretch them out and help stretch out the sole of the foot. Let's do the other side. We're going to bring the foot out in front. Heel is down, toe is up. And again, it can be on the floor if you would prefer. And you're going to have your hands at the lower thigh. You're going to sit up tall. Take a breath in and lean forward. Breath out. Now you should be feeling a stretch in the back of the thigh. Your foot should be directly in front of you. If it's out to the side, you can try it. Try moving forward. You don't feel nearly as much with that alignment. Again, you can use the belt around the ball of the, or the middle of the foot here. We're not at the ball yet, to help either bend yourself forward if that's difficult, or just to intensify the stretch. The belt can help with the foot rolling in and out, as well as foot position if it wants to roll in and out. Then we're going to move the belt to the ball of the foot, and we're going to pull straight up the shin. Again, if your foot wants to roll in, pull on the outside of that belt so it comes straight up that shin. You're going to hold that. And again, you can repeat the ones that you feel the most. Make sure you do 2 to 3 repetitions of those. Again, so I'm pulling back here, then I can use my hands to bend forward. Now I feel it all the way down the back of my leg. Remembering not to push into the belt, you're pulling those toes back, trying to keep your knee down, right? Trying not to have it pop up. Good job. Okay, so that, believe it or not, ends up being about a half an hour of stretching already. I hope that this stretch segment is helpful, and then it helps you to get a little flexibility and hopefully help with pain and with movement for you. For joining me. I hope you have a great day.